Hi guys, in this episode I'm going to be asking Ibby a bunch of questions about his views on social media and how you can get the best out of your socials. When it comes to social media content,
Right.
do you think it's quality over quantity or quantity over quality? So, for example, do you think it's better to post 5 days a week, but it's kind of crappy content and it's very quickly made?
Yeah.
Or do you take your time making the content as good as it can be, but you only post once a week?
Yeah. So this is such a flipping good question, man. Honestly, I can't stress that enough, Sasha. This is such a good question. And let me just tell you something. This depends where you are on your content journey. Because if you're at the start, just starting off, and you're hearing from Gary Vee or someone else say, hey, you should post every single day, or you should post 5 times a week or 10, whatever. And the thing is, I would say start with 3 to 5 times a week. I'll tell you why. Because you can then figure out what's it called? You can then figure out what quantity looks like and what quality looks like, because people don't know what quality and quantity is. So I'll give it, like, when I first started posting years ago, I started posting 3 times a day.
Wow.
Right? But I prepared for it.
Yeah.
Right? So we prepared, like, it was 200 shorts, and I thought, okay, if I post 3 times a day, I've got 2 months covered. That's how I thought of it. And it was like, let's go. Right? And I figured out that not all of them were quality. But then did it get attention? Yes. So it depends what your goal is. So this all depends. But something like a podcast, let's say we do a podcast, which we're doing now.
Are we?
Yeah, we are. I think so. Is it called a podcast? Yes, it is. And we do a podcast and suddenly we chop this up. That's quality.
Yeah.
So like, and like, if we went for 2 hours and we went through like 50 questions, that's like 50 shorts. So I would argue that most of them are going to be quality, because that's going to bring some value to someone. So again, it depends on the content you're doing. If you're just posting selfies or something like that, I don't know, you're not going to have like 3 to 5. So I say your journey is going to look like, go through quantity and then go through a filter of quality. And I think that's how it looks like.
So would you then say that data analysis is important for that? So like, say you started out with quantity and you're tracking all of the data, you're seeing how many views, how much engagement everything gets. Do you think that you should look at those numbers and then maybe the things that aren't performing as well you can replace with higher quality content?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think data is everything.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have data, like, what are you going off? So I think every time you post, you need to look how well it does. You need to look at the insights, because that provides you. How many times I've done it myself, right? I posted something, I thought, this one's a banger. And that one's the worst one.
Yep.
And you put so much effort into it, and then it's one that you just do on a random, on your phone, and then that ends up, and you think, I'm confused. Please, Instagram, come and tell me, like, what have you done?
Yep.
So, like, there's no right answer, right? And I guess, and I'm going to take it even back, like, for those that are watching, you have to know what your strategy is.
Yeah.
But for a restaurant business, for example, like, you have to be posting at least 3 times a week. You've got so much content to post. Like, you have got content to post. There's a lot of things that are happening. So, like, they have no excuse. Like, they can find quality content in a restaurant.
Yeah. Even if it's like B-roll or...
So much. Yeah. Right? So, like, post at least 3 times a week.
Is that just like posts, or is that like shorts and reels?
No,
or
mix
stories?
Mix them up. So if we're talking about Instagram, you have to know what's trending. So are carousels popular? Are reels popular? What is it? So I would say just it's a testing game. Test it, see what works for you, what you enjoy doing. Everything at the end of the day does work. So whatever you feel like you want to stick with that.
Okay, cool.
I don't want to say to people, I do this or do that, and end up they'll be like, oh no, well, I can't do that. Like, just do everything.
Do everything.
Whatever works for you. Yeah.
Okay, well, in that case,
yeah,
does it make sense then that perhaps consistency is more important than quality or quantity?
Yeah, I think consistency is important anyway. But you could also be consistently bad.
That's true.
Yeah. Right? So I think what you should be focusing on is the content that you're putting out there. What's the purpose for that content? Right? So you need to make sure that it's a good content, it has a purpose, it's delivering a message, and it has a call to action.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have that, then what are you posting? Right? Because your Instagram or whatever social media page is, it's your business card. right? So, because we're talking about a business here. So, like, you need to be making sure, like, every post, the effort you put out there, like, what is it doing? What's the purpose of it? So you have to very much understand that.
Okay. Do you think that needs to be broadcast to your audience through calls to action, though?
What do you mean?
So, for example, I am, in some of my work, a social media manager.
Yeah.
And something that I believe quite strongly in is that Gen Z and Gen Alpha in particular, the younger generations, hate being told what to do.
Yeah.
They hate calls to action. They hate being told to comment, to join the Discord, to go to the website and sign up to newsletters.
Yeah.
So, do you think that calls to action are 100% necessary?
Yeah, I think they are necessary. Again, it does depend on the context of your content. But let me give you an example, right? So right now, if we pull up my Instagram page, yeah, helping restaurant owners launch and grow their first independent restaurant without costly mistakes. Then it says, it's an arrow pointing down. It says, join my free community to get started.
Okay.
Right. So I don't think that's like telling someone what to do.
No, not necessarily.
Right. So, but it is a call to action.
Yeah.
So I guess it's understanding who your client is. Just 1 minute. So Gen Z, what is it? What did you say?
Gen Z and Gen Alpha. So
how old are these guys?
probably about under 20, let's say.
Okay. Well, firstly, that's not going to be my customer.
Yeah.
For example, in my context, right? Like, it's not a very, very small percentage, for example, in my case. So even if it was, like, I can't see them being offended by join my free community to get started.
I'm not saying they would be offended.
No. Yeah. But, like, don't tell me what to do, right? But I guess on the other hand is, like, if it was without costly mistakes, DM me now.
Right now.
Do you know what I mean? DM me now for more or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess that's more a little bit in your face, and they might be like, don't tell me to DM you now. I'll DM you when I want to DM you.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess it does depend, but it's like understanding your ideal, who your customer is and what is the best tone of language to speak to them in.
Yeah. So their persona is like, should be main priority.
Yeah.
Before you decide that.
Yeah. But like, you know, so that's 100%. But I do think like a call to action is necessary depending on like if you're trying to sell something or if it's your business page. Like there should be some sort of a call to action, even if it's like,
yeah,
and it doesn't necessarily have to be revenue driven. It could be like you could start a discussion on something. Tell me in the comments because you want to drive some engagement. But it's just do it in a
nice way.
In a nice way. But saying that, like I've also posted things with no call to action.
Yeah.
So, but the more I've understood this game is just like there has to be because your time is so valuable, and everything that you're doing should be a bit more intentional, depending on what season you're in.
Yeah.
And like yeah, if you want to test things out. But like, I think a call to action in most cases works.
Okay, that's absolutely fair. Say if you were focusing on reach and you're trying to get your content out to as many people as possible, because especially with like TikTok, the algorithm can royally screw you over.
Yeah.
You're capped at 250 views. It's not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes just growing followers and doing that organically without paying for paid ads. Do you think that could be a situation where you don't necessarily need a call to action? Because if people are looking at your content, they know you want them to follow you. So do you need to tell them to follow you?
Yeah. So what's your question?
Do you think that it's still necessary to have a call to action, even if you're not necessarily trying to get them to do anything apart from
just follow
stick around? Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like if your content is good, people are just going to follow you anyway. For me, I used to think followers were very important, but I've realized they're not. So like at the moment now, remember I used to think you need a lot of followers, blah, blah, blah. But I've now realized like I would rather have 200 people who are really engaging and really care about what I'm saying, rather than having go for the aim or goal of followers and get caught up in that cycle.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like making sure that the right follower is following me. And I feel like if you're making a post that is speaking to that right follower, they will follow you and they will find you and your post will find them because people are looking for them and your post will find them. So I think my personal goal for the way I post now has completely changed.
So a call to action isn't always necessary.
Yeah, because so let's define call to action. So a call to action could be join my free community to get started.
Yep.
It could be DM me now, but it could be great copywriting on that post, which is hooked you in and it's took you through a story and you don't even realize, but that is a call to action.
So subliminal messaging is absolutely a good tool.
Yeah, like I think copywriting is everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, like movies, they hook you in, right? It's like, but they don't sometimes. It's not direct, like do this or do that. So it's about making sure your story or whatever it is on your post is so good that you've just got them.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of psychology at play here now. But yeah, I think the question people need to really ask themselves in 2025, like, do you want to make money or do you want to become viral? Right? And do you want to become a celebrity or do you want to make money?
Is there a way where they can cross over?
I think if you become good at what you do, you will become a celebrity in your own space. And I think if you're offering great content, you will become viral in your own space. But I don't think that should be the goal.
Okay.
I see a lot of people now where I speak to them, oh, how can I go viral quickly? Why do you want to go viral? I said, what if you go viral for the wrong reasons?
Yeah.
Right? And like, show me, like, I would really love to look into this because I haven't actually looked into the data on this, that the people that have actually gone viral in certain aspects, what is the conversion rate and what was the per person, what happened? In fact, I just remembered a story and you probably remember this. I think it was in China or Japan or somewhere, I can't remember where. There was a TikTok girl who suddenly became famous on TikTok, and then she says to her followers that I'm doing a meetup at a shopping center, right? And she had like millions of followers, Sasha, right? And she put this location, and guess what? Nobody showed up.
Yep.
Right? And I think that was a big lesson in the industry at that point, where, and I think she was like in bits, and she documented it as well. Brave of her, right? Like big, like a star in her own little TikTok world. And she cried to her mom or something, and she said that, everyone can just Google this. And I think that was a big eye opening for her to realize that, like, not all followers are good followers, and my goals are wrong here. Like, I'm aiming for likes and engagements and becoming viral, but it's for the wrong reason. So yeah, we have to go super detailed and nerdy on this stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it then makes me think of things like Duolingo. So
What's that?
Duolingo is a language learning app. And one of the biggest things that they've become known for lately, over the past sort of 5 years, is their social media strategy.
Right.
So they took a really, really big risk and they decided to become more personable. They started engaging with trends, with memes, all sorts of things that weren't necessarily considered professional at the time, but they got a lot of engagement. They got a lot of follows. They are now renowned as like one of the top people that everyone wants to copy. So do you think there's a place for memes within marketing and social media marketing, even for a restaurant?
Yeah. I think you can do that. I think memes, when I hear of memes, I think of jokes. I think of like something that's going to bring a bit of joy into something that's going to bring a bit of laughter. And it's a bit of a laugh. And, we always take things a bit too seriously sometimes. So like, if you can bring some sort of a meme in that suits your personality and your business and your restaurant, it could be like a chef is cooking, like let's say in the restaurant, and like, I don't know, he's messed up and he's messed up an order or something. You could probably make a meme out of that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a bit of laughable, but it also shows human nature. It also builds connection. Because it shows the human side.
Yeah.
So I guess like a meme, I would say, is a good thing to bring in, I would say.
Okay. Because that kind of also links into the whole going viral thing, because a lot of the time a meme can go viral. For example, there was a fish and chip shop a few years ago that went viral, and not necessarily to the right people.
Yeah.
But then after that meme happened and they started playing on that a bit more, people would travel miles and miles to go to this one random fish and chip shop. So they did increase conversions from it.
There you go.
So I know that you said before that going viral isn't necessarily what you want or what your goal is, but do you think that it can still be massively helpful when you're
I mean, this is what I'm saying. So focus on doing good content And if that then becomes viral, it's a bonus.
So good content isn't necessarily good quality camera, good quality audio. It can be just a really funny meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just super authentic, super like something what people, most of people can relate to. And like we were saying before, like often when you put more effort into the studio setup and the mics and this, and you forget the content. But there's a lot of successful creators who just shoot on their iPhone,
Yeah.
even if it's like 6 years old, and they're still doing well. So I think we always get caught up in the right lighting and the right mics and the right chairs, but really, like if you actually just focus on the content, I think people will be better off.
Yeah. Plus, you can adapt your style of content to,
Yeah.
for example, if you're on a not so good camera,
100%.
you can make that part of the
Yeah,
joke
yeah.
type
All
thing.
these things do help, but it's a bonus. It's like it's like icing on the cake.
Cool. You said in one of your recent videos
Okay. Ooh, here we go. Trouble.
that iteration and testing different things
Yeah.
is always a good thing. Do you think that that's true? Always a good thing? Because, for example, shouldn't you have a solid foundation built in order to have that initial data point to work from before you start testing new things?
So you need to give me some specific examples here. So like, what did I say?
So you said that iteration and changes, even in like social media, whether it's in social media or your business, are always a good thing.
Oh, changes in business.
Iterations.
What's iterations?
So different types of things. So for example, if I wanted to change up my menu, but I've only been working in my restaurant for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and I'm like, actually, I'm not feeling this menu. I want to put 3 new mains,
Right,
2 new starters on my menu straight away.
Right.
Surely you need to know the data behind that baseline.
Got it.
Otherwise,
I got your question. Yeah, I fully understand it now. So, of course, like you're totally 100% right. So I'll give you the context behind what I said. So usually what people want to do is start something on a Monday and they want a result by Thursday.
Yeah.
Right? No, don't approach it with that mentality. Right? So like if you want to, like in a menu space, like it has to be 3 months.
Yeah.
Right? So it has to be seasonal. You can't every 2 weeks change the menu. That's going to cost you too much. It doesn't even make business sense. So it depends on what you're doing, then depends how much time you need to give that task. So for example, menu for restaurants, you need to give 3 months. If you're testing a campaign on Facebook, for example, like it depends how much, like I've tested things in 7 days.
Yeah.
Also, like on average, the market tests things out in 30 days. People have tested things out in 3 days. It depends on how you're testing things out and how much money you're willing to put behind something to get certain results. Like, for example, when I was testing my workshop, I was split testing 2 pages. And I spent £1,000 in 3 days and I got what I needed to get.
Yeah.
The alternative was I could have spent £10 a day and waited 30 days. But no, I wanted an answer in 3 days. So like it all depends on what you're testing. And like and the point here is this, like put a strategy in place, put a plan in place. Like what is it you're doing, right? Let's talk about YouTube, right? So for example, are you going to have results data in your first video out? No. So in the YouTube context, what's the average? It's maybe 30 videos or 50 videos. Well, that's going to take you at least, maybe depending how often you post, but if you post 2 times a week, it's going to take you at least 25 weeks.
Yep.
So everything depends, and you have to go with what works in that specific niche.
So say that you were advertising your new restaurant on social media and you'd come up with this series like Dish of the Week or something like that. It was quite memey and it made a bit of fun out of the dish and went a bit over the top.
Yeah.
And you thought, yes, this is absolutely going to bang. This is going to be the best content ever. You put it out, the first video flops.
Yeah.
Do you immediately stop posting those videos or do you continue the series?
Yeah.
Get your data set.
Yeah.
Compare it to what you've already got.
Yeah.
And then go from there and make a decision.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. You don't just give up. Like, that's just the start. So you have to put different variations out. if that didn't do well, work out why didn't do well. Check the titles, maybe check the thumbnails, maybe check what was the content. Did it have, we have now frameworks of things to do, right?
Yeah.
So for example, people have short attention spans. So it's like, okay, make the first 30 seconds or first, whatever it is,
seconds,
like, make it like appealing. So give people a reason to stay. They have so much going on. People have so many problems, so many things. Why do you want them to watch your 15-minute video? So if you can't give them something in the first minute or 30 seconds or whatever, most likely they're going to fall off.
Yeah.
So it's all about putting a strategy together, and comes down to the one word, which has probably been the highlight of this and last episode, is preparation.
Preparation.
So it's about preparation. Thank you for watching and making it till the end. If you did enjoy this and you want to see more of this, and tell us in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this, please subscribe. And I'll see you on the next episode. Say bye.
Bye.